I think that Mukoda have Varou travels out to the Varou community, finds one of them and tries to convince. Let's take a look really quickly at compel. Charm, pacify, barter, or convince. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to maybe the Varou that I talked to previously, and I'm gonna try to convince them. I'm gonna talk about the ceremonial mace, and I'm gonna talk about the haunt, and how I think this is what's causing the problem. And I have a ritual that will free your people from the influence of this haunt if you'll just allow me to do it. So I'm gonna try to do compel, and I'm gonna roll heart. Do I share a bond? No, I don't. So we'll just do plus heart. So that's 6. Oh, God, come on. So that's 6 and 7, and I rolled a 6. So that's a miss. So they refuse or make a demand which costs greatly. Well, let's roll on the following table and just sort of see what it comes up with. 17. Your action has an unintended effect. What's 71? It's stressful. Okay, let's take a spirit. I'm dispirited. Right? So I'm taking -1 spirit, and then we're going to endure stress. And our spirit is +4. So that's actually 1 and 1, and that's a success with 10 compared to 1. So that's a critical success. On a strong hit, shake it off. If your spirit is greater than 0, suffer -1 momentum in exchange for 1 spirit, or take 1 momentum. I'm going to take 1 momentum to get me to 0. And then my critical success, I think my opportunity is simply that seeing how dispirited I am motivates this Varou through bonds of kinship to realize that I'm really invested in this. And I think that they change their mind and agree to take us to the alpha of their pack so that I can plead my case. Like, they don't agree to take me to the ceremonial mace, but they're going to agree to take me to their alpha so that I can make my case to them. What is forge a bond? When you spend significant time with a personal community, stand together to face hardship, or make sacrifices for their cause, you can attempt to create a bond. Yeah, I can't do that yet. I was thinking I would form a bond with this guy, and into his kin. Maybe after, if I save them from the influence of this mace, I think then I could forge a bond with them. Okay, so I'm looking at my path and my ritual. I think I'm going to do my keening ritual. When you hold a weapon and sing a keen for those it has killed, so I'm this kith blade I have, roll plus heart, and on a strong hit, so we're going to roll plus heart. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do my keening ritual before we head out. So that's going to be definitely a strong hit, because it's 6 plus 3 is 9. On a strong hit, the wielder inflicts +1 harm when they strike or clash. If we roll a 1 on the action die when making a move to inflict harm, the magic is spent. So we're going to get +1 harm on our blade because of this keening ritual that we did. So we prepared for the events of what's going to happen. We've just sort of communed with our ritual and with the people we've killed with this blade, and we're preparing ourselves for a confrontation. As we're traveling, I'm going to sort of use my sort of wilderness crafting stuff to secure an advantage, using my knowledge of tracking and woodcraft and woodland creatures to sort of observe the surroundings that I'm in and see if I can figure out some advantage. Like if there's some trick that I can, sort of ICRPG trick, is there a tree that I can utilize to my advantage in this area that might fall on my foes, that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna do that. Secure an advantage. When you assess a situation, make preparations or attempt to gain leverage. Envision that your action and roll. So that's what I'm doing is I'm looking, at this environment. Oh, this is where they live. Well, that means that I could do this. I could run around that hill that I know of, that sort of thing. So we're gonna roll. Oh, but wait, I want to do heart, charm, loyalty, or courage. Okay, actually, so I'm charming. I think I'm charming this guy, this Varou that I'm dealing with, and I'm sort of talking about the local environment, and I'm using my woodcraft to express my knowledge of the environment, and like, oh, look at this. No, hold on. I know we're going to this thing, but look at this wonderful thing. You should definitely tell your troop about this particular mushroom or whatever that could be medicinal for you, that sort of stuff. I'm trying to find ways to sort of bond without making a bond as we go through. So we're going to do +1 and heart because I'm charming. Oh my God. Well, that's 1. +3 is 4. +1 is 5. So it's a weak hit. Advantage is short-lived, take 1 momentum. Okay, so we'll add 1 momentum, which still doesn't do much for me. Well, it was worth a try. So I think that then we go to the den of these Varou, this, the place where they're habitating. And the Varou that I'm with introduces me to the leader, and I'm going to try and sort of compel, charm this. Actually, yeah, before I compel, I'm going to actually try and secure an advantage. I'm going to talk about charm, loyalty, and courage. I'm going to talk about how I spent time with the Varou that I was traveling with, who I haven't bothered to learn his name yet, but that I have everyone's. I'm really interested in this group and this Varou, and I'm part Varou. So, we have some kinship, and I'm trying to be charming and go through all of the motions, the social, the small talk and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and roll secure an advantage, plus heart, but not the extra +1. So it's just going to be +3. Oh, God. +3 and 4 is a miss. I'm not charming at all. I fail. My assumptions betray you. I'm not as much of a Varou as I pretend to be, and I just make mistakes. Like I sniff the wrong butt, or I pee on the wrong tree. Let's do really quickly. Let's just see what the Oracle says pay the price would be. 88. Waste resources. So I take a minus on supply. I've given them food or whatever. I've tried to break bread with them, and what I've failed to realize is they don't eat bread; they only eat meat. They're on the keto diet. They're low carbohydrates, so they don't break bread. Oh, sorry, kitty. Yeah, so I waste supplies by trying to give it. They toss them. What is this? Bread, and tosses it into the forest. So I'm minus supply. So let's go ahead and now move to compel. We're going to try and charm, pacify, barter, or convince. So we're going to roll plus heart. That is definitely going to work. It's a 4 and a 4 and a 3 on the challenge die. So with the +3 heart, that's plenty. So that's a strong hit. They'll do what I want or share what they know. Take +1 momentum. If you use the exchange to gather information, make that move now and add +1. So we're at +2 momentum. Gather information. Let's look at gather information really quickly. Ask questions, conduct an investigation, follow a track. It's wits though. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go ahead and I've compelled them to give me information about this mace, and that I can free them from its let me purify it for you so that it doesn't have undue influence on you. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess let's roll this as if it were the Keen ritual. I'm going to hold this mace. Like they show me, like they realize, I've told you we've been, they communicate with themselves, and I know we've been having bad dreams. I told you that this was not good. And, they sort of huddle and they talk about it. Yes, we know that there's something going on, but maybe we can be free of this. And so we're going to try. So they have that conversation, and they agree to let me do this ritual. They won't give it to me, but they'll let me do the ritual. Like I haven't asked for it, but they're not handing it over. They're just letting me see it. And I'm saying, like, just let me cleanse it for you. Like marking territory, like one would mark territory. It has been marked by something. Let me clean that mark off of this mace. Let me unmark it for you. And so that's really what I'm doing. And so let's go ahead and roll on the keening, and we're going to do plus heart and see what we get. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so well, that's a weak hit. So it's 5, and then 8 and 1 on the challenge die, plus 3 heart. So that's a weak hit. On a weak hit for keening ritual, the voices of those who are slain join in your song. So I think as I start keening on this mace, the haunt starts to manifest itself and starts to join in my song and reveals itself.